get out of that mindset of hypervigilance, I still find myself, a bit extremely observant about other people's behaviors, actions. 2021 was the year I went into survival mode and had to also learn how to get out of that mindset of hypervigilance. I still find myself, a bit extremely observant about other people's behaviors, actions, all of that. I have improved a lot more since 2021. 2022 was the year that I had to silently build a foundation, silently go through it was quite difficult on the business side, and it was also quite calm on the personal side of things. It did stretch me in the sense that I had to show up in areas that I didn't think I'll be able to, but I had to, so I did. It ended up in the last quarter, there's so many blessings that came forth, and for me, I feel like having been quite out there exposed in terms of certain good things that have happened to me, I've come to learn that I would rather not necessarily boast, but I would rather try and turn those blessings into bigger blessings that don't just affect me but affect other people. And so I have been quite quiet about those good things that happened to me in 2022. Yeah. Also because I also learned not to say things too quickly. I know I should celebrate those things, but for me, I need to focus more on making my life worthwhile and doing the things that I'm supposed to do instead of just spending most of my time celebrating about things that have happened. So that means that 2023 is the year that I silently build. It's very crucial for my mental health, it's very crucial for my business, it's very crucial for, I guess, my relationship with God, which is something I don't think I want to put on here, but here I am talking out of just being honest. So so I just wanted to share with you 6 things I learned in 2022, and there are possibly a lot more, but while I was journaling this morning, I ended up with 6 pointers. So I'll just read through, and hopefully if this helps you, you can share with somebody else or learn, practice yourself to see if it actually works for you, and if it does, you share it to other people so it also blesses them. So I'm just going to start. The first one is that holding myself accountable is the uncomfortable truth I have to grow through to make it to the next stage of my life better equipped. And I need to do that to get out of my own way. So my issue with, I don't know, like, I don't know if I can say used to. I'm working on my overthinking. It's a good thing, it's also not so great at the same time. But in this case, I feel like there are different levels to holding myself accountable. There's the intense criticism that prevents me from actually putting stuff out there, doing the things I need to do, pushing myself, working and doing the things I need to do. It's like that intense criticism before I even start. And then there's also the accountability that I need to do, which is actually allow myself to sit through the knowledge and acceptance that I lack in certain areas and I need to work on them. It's not easy, especially when other people point it out to you. And that, I think, is a fight between pride and ego, and actually just sitting down with myself and saying, yeah, they were right, or maybe they weren't right. Just actually being objective about it and hanging my ego out the window and focusing on what actually needs to be done. That is not easy, but it's very essential. So that's one thing I've noticed. It's important going into 2023. The second thing I wrote is that being nice may not be doing as much good as I thought it did. Be real instead of nice. Communicate clearly and respectfully. And if they agree or can deal with it, good. If they can't, that's not my problem. I keep it moving. So this is This is in response to my growth over the years as a people pleaser, or my growth over the years from unlearning the habit of people pleasing. And it's quite intricate in that it's almost unlikely to find myself vouching for myself when I need to, um, and never really thinking of myself first, you know. And it has affected me in so many ways. But it's not really. I've come to learn that it's not really all about just. It can be easy if I don't just look at it as, oh my god, what is this person going to say? How are they going to think about me? What are they going to feel? How am I going to hurt them? How is this going to worry them? So it's easy for me to just say yes. It was more easy for me to say yes, yes, yes to everybody else's request. But I've come to learn that I can figure it out in this way. So let's say a meeting is supposed to be set in the morning, and somebody wants to meet me, virtually or in person, but it's in the morning. And I know for myself, I like to keep my mornings to myself. I actually build a routine around that so that before I head out, I'm in the right mind space. But there are people who, are morning people. They just wake up and go. I'm more of an evening person. And knowing that it would make more sense to say, oh, okay, do you think it's possible we can shift the meeting to this latter time of the day? Let me know. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. But then, so that gives me a chance to speak out. This is just an example of me speaking up for myself so that the meeting can happen and both parties are okay with the timing, and not that I will show up late and look like a mess and not be in the right headspace, and the whole meeting is messed up, and then I get into my, oh my god, I messed up, that whole rabbit hole. But yeah, so that's another thing I've learned from 2022 to do more of in 2023. So I'm proud of myself for even being able to fathom this, or even note this or learn this. It hasn't been easy. I've let people down multiple times, but it's just I choose in 2023 to get up and do better and not just wallow in my faults. All right, so the third one is I don't have to say everything. And this I learned very early on. Yeah. I don't even know how to put it down. It's just like I think it's well, I growing up I was the quiet kid. I was always in my corner. So, and it was always more like I didn't know how I rarely spoke essentially. So in a way I was applying this, but as I grew more I realized that it's okay for me to talk, it's okay for me to express my thoughts. It did go through a whole like refining moment where I I had to learn that saying everything and putting everything out there, it's not always for the best, because whoever you're talking to, not everybody has your best intentions. I'm not saying I have met anybody in my life has had bad intentions that I know about or that I want to share to you or to the world, but I'm just saying that it's common knowledge. Even when you look at yourself, there are certain times you hear somebody else's good news and you're like, you feel some way inside, and it has nothing to do with them, it has to do with you. So I know that it's possible that although I'm sharing this good information or this bad information or anything about myself to anybody else, I have to assess the situation before I actually put all that information out there. Yeah, and there has to be a purpose to putting stuff out there. So yeah, if it's not needed, I choose in 2023 not to say so. You know, not everybody has to understand you. Anyways, well, let me say it that way. Let me say it this way. Not everybody has to understand me. Yeah. All right. So now the fourth one is that it's just a reminder to myself: if you overthink, try to simplify your whys and your hows. You're asking your how. How will I do this? Or your why am I doing this? Try and simplify it. And just like a note to myself, because yes, I tend to overthink a lot, and not even in the sense of being like, okay, yes, it involves getting too nervous about a certain thing, and or thinking very far about what could happen in the next 5 years, 10 years, all of that, what needs to be done now with respect to that. But then I've realized that it is really as simple as looking at your next step, and it's more freeing to do that than always bothered about what's gonna happen in like 5 years or in the next week. Just take your next step. Of course, know where you're headed towards, but in terms of taking action, focus on your next step. So that's helped me simplify and actually manage my overthinking. And it's something I want to do more of in 2023. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is related to the fourth one, which is privacy is not overrated. It's very necessary. I think that I don't need to elaborate on that. It's just, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But if you don't, try it out so that you would know. Yeah. And the sixth one is, yes, these events of learning, growing, making mistakes, experience are recurring. I can't hide from them. And so instead of hating the idea of waking up the next day to go through it all over again, I choose to build a better relationship with life by accepting that change is constant. Yeah. And I actually want to have fun with it, try and look at it through a different lens where it's an opportunity to have fun. Because for how many years now? 2020, 2021, 2022, for like 3 years now, I've been living my life worried about letting people down in terms of the expectations they have set already for me. But what I really want to do, the person I know I am deep inside, is the lady who likes to have fun. Fun in my own terms is like, getting a bike and riding around town and recording, talking to random people, just laughing, watching comedies, dancing. I do remember the last time I religiously danced, and that is somehow sad. If my younger self, like my 10-year-old self, was to watch me now, she'd probably be like, okay girl, I'll give you time, but we're gonna have to come back to this dance thing. So like for me, I really want to spend 2023 also opening myself back out to letting go and having more fun. Yeah. And I don't know, I spoke to somebody who was like, oh, do you dance now? I was like, no, I've not really danced in a while. And he said, oh, you're growing. And in a way, yeah, it's sort of true. Because I've not really had time to think about the things I think about, the things that I had to, work on. Because it was quite new for me, I didn't know how to balance that with having fun. But now, I really want to try better, and at least if it's just a little TikTok video while I'm putting content about my business out there, like a little dance, those dances, I just want to try it, I don't want to lose it. So yeah, that's me and my lessons from 2022, and hopefully this silence building year would result to me coming back here on YouTube more occasionally. But hey, if this resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up. And if you want me to come back on here, you like my vibe, because it's another thing I'm still figuring out in terms of YouTube and editing and all of that. If you like my vibe, let me know in the comment. Let me know in the comment. Let me know in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. So that would push me. Wow. I can't say this. I was about to say that having more subscribers would also, in retrospect, could also give me some anxiety. So, do as you may. I will keep learning how to regulate my emotions for my own greater good and for the greater good of whoever can be impacted by it. So, thank you for sticking through. Thank you for watching, and all the best in 2023 and all the years after that. More positive energy, more trying new things, good things, doing what we know we need to do, and more just being comfortable in our own skin. So, have a good one.